Hey guys, BigBlackHatMan here, and excuse me, I'm a little bit sick today, but I want to do a quick vlog because guess what? Finally purchased and have now seen this film. This is what I really wanted to see when it came out. You know, it's basically, I know they called it a Southern, but it's basically a Western. It's got the same motif. It's got the same. It's an homage to spaghetti westerns in so many ways. So this should have been right up my alley. I should have ran right out and seen this, but my movie theater never got it, and I was very busy over the holidays. I didn't have a chance to go out of town to go see it, so purchased it when it came out, sat down, watched it yesterday. It's a long film, so I had to find time. Got it watched yesterday, and so now I'm just sort of sitting down and giving you my reaction to this film, Django Unchained, Quentin Tarantino film. And honestly, it's really good. I mean, it's Tarantino. If you enjoy Tarantino, you'll enjoy this film. It's pretty straightforward as that in my mind. I like Jamie Foxx as the main character. There were times where I thought maybe he underplayed it a little bit. You know, maybe he could have maybe even hammed it up just a touch, oddly enough. But he's good. Christoph Waltz, he won Best Supporting Oscar. He's great in it too. I mean, really, what can I say about this film that hasn't been said? Because so many people have heaped so much praise upon it. The end, I remember when James did his review of this film, he said the end was a little drug out. And I agree with that. After, you know, it feels like they have a conclusion, then they have a little bit of, like, 10 minutes of stuff and 10, 15 minutes of stuff, and then they have another climax. It's like you have the double climax thing, which I've never been a fan of the double climax. I actually just did my video on Stagecoach not that long ago where I was critical of the same thing in Stagecoach. They have a double climax. And this kind of does that, but it's not the end of the world. It holds back the film a little bit, but not tremendously in my mind. It's still a really solid film. This was... Matt Hogday Master said to me when he saw the film, he said, it's better than the movies it's homaging. And I totally get that now. For those who haven't watched a lot of spaghetti westerns, they're just okay. Yeah, there's a few of them that are pretty good. But for the most part, the spaghetti western, they're not that great of films. They're just decent films. In fact, this film is named for, if people don't realize this, I don't know if people know this, I'm sure some people know, some people don't, but in 1966 a film called Django came out, directed by Sergio Corbucci and starring Franco Nero, and its big claim to fame was that it was very violent, and that's what made the film popular, because trust me, if you watch the movie, it's not that good. The plot is really average, a lot of the side characters are really average to below par. Franco Nero in the lead is great. I mean, that's what carries the film. He's really charismatic and really interesting. In fact, this movie, I don't know if people notice this, but the scene where Django's at the bar and the guy walks up and asks him his name and gets him to spell it and all that stuff, that's Franco Nero. I don't know if people realize that. That was Franco Nero, and the whole joke about how of course he knows how to spell the name, knows the D is silent and walks away. It's Franco Nero. I wonder how many people got that reference, but I recognize him immediately. Oh man, that's him. Be a Western fan, so yeah, of course I knew. But anyway, getting back to spaghetti westerns, they're just fairly run-of-the-mill films, and this was a much better built film with much better characters than most of those films have. It still had the action, and maybe even more so because you can do more now, action, and so that's where the homage comes from. But as far as the characters and the dialogue and all that stuff, it's almost all better than anything you'd have gotten in those films. I mean, you take the best from that era, which is probably the only Dollars trilogy and Once Upon a Time in the West, and I would say this is not easily on par with any of those films. Once Upon a Time in the West, I'm torn. I'd have to really break. I've only seen this once, right? So I'm kind of knee-jerk reacting right now. I really enjoyed it yesterday. I don't know if this is better than Once Upon a Time in the West or not, which is virtually an American production in a lot of ways. It still gets the title spaghetti western, but it's got an almost all American cast. It's got a lot of American settings. They actually shot in Monument Valley, where John Ford did a lot of his films. So, you know, that film's sort of borderline, whether it's a spaghetti western or not. Excuse me. The little But, so no, I've seen this. I enjoyed this. It's a good film. I recommend people to see it. If you like Quentin Tarantino, you'll enjoy this. If you like westerns, I think you'll enjoy it. I mean, the downsides are, I feel like I'm nitpicking when I pull out the downsides of this film. You know, like you can tell maybe Jamie Foxx wasn't originally the casting for that role, and I don't know. A lot of people really praised DiCaprio for this, and I enjoyed his role, but I didn't think it was any more important to the film than any of the other side roles. I thought Sam Jackson and Christoph Waltz, even Don Johnson, his little cameo, I thought maybe stood out just a touch more than DiCaprio in my mind. I don't know what it was. He didn't wow me in this film. I like DiCaprio for the most part now, especially since he started working with Scorsese and stuff. But it didn't really grab me in this one. I know a lot of people really gravitated towards his performance, but I wasn't overly awed, I guess. Sort of knee jerk, just reacting just to the film that as I saw it. It didn't really. Maybe I expected too much too after hearing everybody else really talk him up. But and speaking of cameos, man, are there a lot of cameos in this film. I mentioned the Franco Nero cameo. There's a Bruce Dern cameo, and you hardly knew Bruce Dern was still alive. At 77 years old, he pops up in this film for in this one hazy scene where you can barely tell it's Bruce Dern. Oh gosh, I can't even. Tom Wopat is in this film for 5 seconds. If you even notice he's in the film, you're doing pretty good. It's like every minor character is somebody. Walton Goggins is in this movie, or Walton Goggins is in this film for a little bit, and he's really making a career out of playing a redneck and everything. Just a lot of people in this film, a lot of really good actors, and that helps make it a really good film. And so, yeah, it's enjoyable, and this is just, I wish I wasn't sick when I was doing this. I feel like I'm not very enthusiastic, but I really did enjoy this movie. And I want to make a couple quick announcements since I praised Django Unchained, so yeah, go and see it. We have a little collaboration we're working on right now on the site, sort of an idea by myself and Kyle R. We got together, we came up with this idea to do something called The Party, and a lot of you are already in on it, you already know about it. Videos are due at the end of April. If you don't know about it and you're interested in the collaboration, leave me a comment and I'll get in touch with you and we'll discuss participation. Let's see, my sinuses are swollen up today, sorry guys, I'm really just kind of holding on, but I wanted to talk about the film and make the announcement. And so I think that's it. Bottom line, I like the movie. If you have any questions, in the comments, I'll respond. So happy trails and watch out for those rough patches.